Yeah, I know it's right now until Friday.
Friday and then.
Put that red
Wait, is it in? Are they?
No, it's at the
You know what,
Looks good, yeah.
And the kind of like.
no, I don't pay on my own daughter, so I'm assuming that yours do the same. No, I know, and I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I came back, I was like, oh. I've been seeing you lots. It's blue, right? And it's definitely you. I do. I'm like, there's Robert. Oh, wait, no. I don't. No, this time, well, I was like, we're the car that it is. What is it? Okay.
That was when I was telling you. These little movements.
And paint it.
Nice car.
Wait, was it in your own driveway?
No.
Oh, okay.
The lady got her sandal stuck on the top. Everybody else is with them. What you guys, Kim, you guys?
Okay, I hereby call the regular Board of Education meeting this June 25th, 2024 to order at 7 o'clock p.m. Please silence or turn off all electronic devices. And could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? There's a flag in the back of the room. Thank you. Mrs. Johnson, could you please call roll?
Oh. Got it, thank you. Okay. No, attendance. Here we go. Okay. Bianchini,
Here.
Camardo,
Here.
Friedland,
Here.
Grimpy,
Here.
I am here, Pfisterer,
Here.
Ronstadt.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, next up is the consent agenda. Looking over the consent agenda, are there any items that a member would like to remove or further discuss? Or is there a question of clarification? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda in its entirety as presented, which includes the following: Board of Education meeting minutes from May 7th, the closed session meeting minutes from May 7th, the meeting minutes from June 11th, the Board of Education closed session meeting minutes from June 11th, the personnel report, actual payrolls, bills and checks, travel report, insurance renewals, renewal of service contracts, the fiscal year 25 interest earnings resolution, staffing changes, teacher assistants and human resources assistant, transfer of funds, which is the resolution to transfer funds from the Education Fund and Operations and Maintenance Fund to the Debt Services, and our resolution to transfer funds from the Operations and Maintenance Fund to the Capital Projects Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Camardo, second by Ronstadt. Could you please call roll?
Okay. Ronstadt,
Yes.
Grimpy,
Yes.
Pfisterer,
Yes.
I vote yes. Bianchini,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
Camardo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next up is board communications. This is an open agenda for all board members. Would anyone like to add anything or share anything?
I was just actually talking with Mr. Scipione, but we were talking about summer school, and it has been delightful, as reports say from my daughter. So it's just been going really, really well, and she loves it. And I know that they're always doing an amazing job, and we'll hear about it in August's meeting. But just wanted to give that little update.
Thank you. I was with Mrs. Johnson at the soccer pitch soft opening. It was a nice event. It was well attended. Had some one member from the village there. We had some members from the bridge, some members from the district, of course, and there were plenty of kids who were willing to get out there and start playing soccer at Euclid. So that was very nice. Anybody else?
Well, I'm sad we couldn't attend on the Saturday, but Kim and I were at IASB's, what did they call it? I can't forget the name. Board President's Academy, which I think is the first time they had it. They're going to do 2 more around the state. So really appreciative of the chance to go. You travel for 2 reasons. 1, to learn something new, and 2, to be appreciative of when you come home. So it's amazing that we do things like consent agendas and committee meetings and things like that other boards are just now deciding they might need things like that. There were a couple of great ideas when the trend seems to be a lot of schools looking at student representatives that could potentially that are coming to their board meetings or having meetings before board meetings to give the board feedback on things. They do it both at the elementary school level, and then the one that comes to the meeting is usually like their middle school, or if it's a high school, it's a high schooler. So something to think about. Other rave reviews, I think we talked about our Ms. Johnson had mentioned we used to do off-site kind of trainings where we go off-site and do a day of training, and people were raving about that. So I think a credit to think about that for next year. And then we did lots of training on parliamentary procedures. A crisis management person came and talked to have plans for that, which I think we do a pretty good job of. But it was just great to be around other board members, and it was really well attended. So thank you.
Yes, I would just like to go off of what Becky had said. The day I too was at that meeting, and the day was just amazingly informative. Just talking through a lot of what other boards do, and again coming home feeling like we're doing a lot of things that people were interested in hearing about and we're not doing, and then hearing a lot of what else is going on in the state was really reinforceful for me to see all the hard work that goes into these board meetings and all the pre-work that goes in. So thanks to everybody that really works hard at that, and Patty and Lyndall and Jody and all of the stuff that you guys put into preparing us for that. The student representative was just an amazing idea, and a couple of boards had shared how that was very impactful for the students and impactful for the board members just to hear student feedback. So that too was an idea I'd love to discuss more. But it was a great day, so thank you for the opportunity to go to that.
Anybody else? All right, moving on. Next up is board recognition. Is it you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start.
All right, great.
Okay, I'm happy to have the middle school track coaches here. If you guys want to come up and kick it off, our recognition. Yeah.
That's cool. Huh. That's true. I'm used to projecting too. Appreciate it. So we had roughly 130 students total on the team this year. It's tough for us to truly know depending on the day. But we accomplished some great things at the conference, the sectional, and the state level. And not only as a team, but for many individuals as well. So before we talk about our special guest, Jordan, here tonight, we do want to mention some of the accomplishments by the team. So this year we did have 4 school records broken. They're all broken by 8th graders, which is kind of the norm in regards to who breaks the records. But then breaking 4 records in 1 year is pretty special. That was Sawyer Karuba in the shot put, Christian Small in the high jump, and then in the boys 4x200, it was also Christian Small with Everett Georgikakis, Patrick Coleman, and Masai Gebre. And then in long jump for girls, Emily Zylik broke that record. As a team, at the conference meet, which is the big meet we do at the beginning of May every year. This is like us, MacArthur, Lincoln, the other local schools. We took first place at the 7th grade boys level, second place for 7th grade girls and 8th grade boys, and third place for 8th grade girls. The following week, then we had the sectional meet, which is the big meet in order to qualify for the state meet. It's about 15 schools roughly. And for each level, we took first place for 7th grade boys, 7th grade girls, and 8th grade boys, and third place for 8th grade girls. So we had a pretty good day that day. Despite, and there was a few issues, to say the least, that day too, but in all, it was a pretty special day for our students. So then we had 25 students qualifying for the state meet the next weekend, which was fantastic representation. We had 14 students earn medals at that meet in the 15 different events that we qualified in. And most notably of those students was Jordan Patterson. So to brag about Jordan for a minute here, and sorry to embarrass you, Jordan, but if you have any questions about these times, feel free to ask, because I know track can be a foreign language to some. But last year, as a 6th grader in track and field, Jordan took qualified for the state meet in 4 events. She took 2nd place in the 100-meter dash. In the 400, it was, I didn't write it down, but I believe it was 3rd. You probably remember it way better than I do. Yeah. She took 3rd place in the 400, 6th place in the 4x400 meter relay, and then she was a state champion in 6th grade in the 4x100 meter relay with a time of 53.93. And then this year, as a 7th grader, what was really impressive was she once again medaled in the 4x100 meter relay, but with 3 different teammates, with an extremely similar time, but taking 6th place. In the 100-meter dash, she took 4th place, and then she became the state champion in the 400-meter with a time of 1:02. So in 2 years' time here, she's taken home 7 medals at the state meet, which is kind of unheard of. And she's a 2-time state champion, and she still has an 8th grade year to go. So no pressure, but so really, just sum it up with that, we've been extremely proud of everything, but we're just excited to see what next year holds. Jordan just doesn't do track and field. She's been a 2-time state runner in cross country for us. She was one of the leaders on the basketball team. She's one of our huge key members for like Raven Leaders. She does a lot for the school, the community. So we're looking forward to next year with her, kind of in a leadership position and captain position for our sports and teams. So congrats to Jordan, and keep it up.
Jordan, why don't you come on up here? Mr. Grimpy has a certificate for you. We'll shake your hand. Bow.
Race you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Great job. Amazing. Yeah. Should be so proud. Very neat.
Congratulations. Nice job.
Yeah. You guys want to come over?
Sure.
It's a little bit easier than for the. Come on, you guys can come out. If you turn away. Don't get into funny ears.
Photo bot.
I almost sat in your seat.
Break a minute.
So again, thanks to the coaches. I know our track teams, our running teams have been so amazing, and I know that we have recognized all of the teams in the past, but I really kind of felt like this was super special, a first place finish in some of your background. So we wanted to highlight you individually tonight. So thanks to your family and you all for coming out. Appreciate that. It was really neat. Like, gave me goosebumps to listen to your accomplishments. So.
You are welcome to stay. You don't have to, of course, and we do have some cookies and snacks for you if you want to take a bunch on your way out. Have a great summer. All right, next up is RTEA comments.
Oh, hold on. I got two more
Oh, hold on.
recognitions.
You're right.
Sorry. Okay. So first, just kind of a re-recognition. This past November was School Board Members Day, and I don't know if you remember, but at the time we talked about planting a tree in the spring in your honor outside in the library courtyard. So obviously we've had spring, and outside there we have planted an eastern redbud. And so I would like to present the memorial plaque that will be in that place and read it. It says, "Thank you for your dedication and service to District 26. William Grimpy, Donna Johnson, Janine Friedland, Luis Camardo, Robert Ronstad, Kimberly Bianchini, and Rebecca Pfister, School Board Members Day 2023. So would you like to come up and accept that, Mr. Grimpy? You can pass it. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, there's your plaque. So I was thinking maybe next board meeting, we could come early, take some pictures and like make it official, put it in the ground.
That'd be great.
Okay. It'll be a little more daylight at that point. Hopefully it's not raining. Okay, next. Oh, look at you have it up there. Okay, next recognition. Lyndall, I'm not sure if you noticed, but outside your window is a new eastern redbud. Did you see it? Yeah, I know she has been very busy. And so we planted a lasting symbol of your dedication to River Trail School District 26. So not only have you been the driving force behind our sustainability and our environmentally conscientious efforts, but you've also been a pillar of strength, offering guidance and support to countless colleagues. Your work ethic is strong, with roots that run deep in the foundation of the district, and just like a tree, you've nurtured new ideas and helped others flourish. So the Eastern Redbud represents all that you have accomplished, and as it grows, may it serve as a reminder of your legacy of hard work, dedication, and the positive impact you've had on everyone here. So there it is, it's there. And we have a plaque that will get out there in the next 2 days. It just says Dr. Lyndall Schuster, in recognition of your hard work and outstanding dedication to River Trail School District. Thank you for making a difference. June 2024. So. You don't have to get out. I'll bring it to you. I knew you would like that.
All right, next up is RTEA comments.
On behalf of the RTEA, we just want to thank you for your support and partnership and look forward to continuing that. So,
Thank you. Next up is visitors' comments. We invite those to approach the board with any questions or comments. Having none, we'll move on to new business and business services, which is Dr. Schuster.
Okay, I was too busy over the last month. What have you got? So the first item is the construction timeline. Just an update. We'll talk about it more in the operations committee. But some of the main things are approving the microgrid and the solar panels at this meeting. We have the RTMS furniture purchase coming up, and then we would like to go out to bid for Indian Grove on July 10th. And with approval, Operations Committee meeting at the end of August and the September 10th board meeting so that we can get a good start on that project. And then we'll talk about it a little bit about under Finance Committee, but we want to make sure we do have the bonds to sell. There's actually 2 bonds. There's an alternate revenue bond and a general obligation bond. And in November, we'll be starting to discuss that along with the levy and the fees. Okay. And then we have some pictures. The construction continues to go really fantastically. We usually have about 70 people out there. It's amazing. Indian Grove, they've been working on the roof. They've pretty much demoed all of the existing roof, and they've been removing the parapet wall, and now they're actually starting to put the insulation up there. It's big white sheets going up there. Euclid is the one, they've got 70 people out there. That one, we've got a few pictures coming up, but the demolition's pretty much complete. They've been working on the underground plumbing. You'll see some dug trenches. There's some masonry walls within the school that need to be done. The framing is, I think it's about done by now, and they've started working on the drywall, particularly on the Wheeling Road wing. They'll have to do it all through the school, and it needs a lot of joint compound and a lot of other stuff, but it's going. Then the DOAS units, the dedicated outdoor air systems, are going up on the roof. They're getting the curbs ready for those to go up there. They've started doing some concrete, and we've been working, getting all the inspections done on a very quick basis so that they can continue to move on with the next part of the project. So you see there, those are the trenches.
That picture on the left, that was the boiler room. So where
yeah.
big boiler sat, not 2 weeks ago, they were chopping it in half. It's clean, and it doesn't even look like the same space.
It's gone. Pictures you have a little bit different. And that's more of the trenches there.
That's the bathroom, right outside the cafeteria. That used to be the bathroom.
There's the framing. You can see one of the masonry walls going up there on the one on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we actually have drywall in part of it, and they've started working on some of the seams there. I don't know if it's that one, but one of them, if you look up on the roof, you can actually see, I think it's on the next page maybe, the VRF units going in. Is there another page? No. The VRF units are going in the ceiling. They're finishing up and everything they need up in the ceiling. So they're doing a great job, right on time, and progress is going really well.
I just have to say also that every time I walk through with Dan, he is so complimentary just about how great the workers have been, how skilled they are, the progress that everyone is making. I mean, I can't believe that 70 people, it's kind of like an assembly line, that they are just, one person finishes and the next crew is kind of working its way in. But Dan has obviously been on site quite a bit, but very complimentary of all of the workers that we have working there. So that's really nice to hear.
Any questions about it?
No, it seems like great progress. I've been driving by, and the parking lot's been jammed full, and can see inside the windows. You can see the framing, and it's great to get an update and hear it's going so well. Well, nice job to everybody.
Actually, I have a really quick question. Do they feel like they're also running
Yes.
like either ahead of schedule
Yes.
or just right
Yes.
on time?
Mhm.
Okay, they're feeling good.
They're feeling good.
No delays thus far.
No. Knock on wood. Where's my wood? I mean, there's some decisions we've made that have helped make sure that it's all on time.
Next up is the middle school furniture.
Okay, so last year we purchased the new LRC furniture, which you can see right here, which we've been enjoying as a board too, and we outfitted 2 classrooms as pilot classrooms. So now we've done all of the analysis and figured out what kind of furniture we want. So now we're ready to get started on our 3-year plan to update the furniture at the middle school. As we talked about before, the furniture here is way over its lifespan of 20 to 25 years. So it's really time to create an environment that's much better suited to our modern learning needs. It will also get this school up to date with Euclid, Indian Grove, and Prairie Trails, even if we are not actually renovating the building. So our first year of furniture is targeted at the 8th grade. I think you could see a picture of the rooms that we're planning to put the new furniture in. The total cost is $244,875.90. We are actually talking to them about a slight discount to that too. And that includes the freight and the installation. So we allocated $1 million in the capital projects fund budget. So this is less than 1/3 of that cost, even though I think we're doing more than 1/3 of the furniture here. So we are recommending that the board approve at the next meeting this purchase. It is through One Government Procurement Alliance, which is a government purchasing cooperative. So that means we don't have to go out to bid. And that's how we've been purchasing the furniture. It's through K-12, from K-12, but through this purchasing cooperative. There's more information in your packet about the timeline. We've been working on it probably over a year, trying to get the information from the teachers, work out different designs, figure out which kind of furniture that we want to buy. But we're at that stage now because we do want to standardize on the furniture. You could see a picture in your board book of the layout, a couple different layouts that we can do with this furniture. It's very flexible. We've got a couple different kind of chairs in there too. One where students can put their books under the chair, another regular one, and then some tall stools for some tall setups as well. And then teacher desks and file cabinet.
Any questions? Okay, thanks, Lyndall. Next up is committee reports. Oh, still you, sorry. Finance Committee is first. Mrs. Johnson, are you kicking it off, or are we punting it to Lyndall?
It's all Lyndall's show. It's
All
her
right.
last show, so she can
Get our
have
money's
all
worth.
the thunder.
Okay, so the Finance Committee reviewed the budget at their last meeting. It's the budget for FY25. We have a little under 1,500 students from preschool through 8th grade. It is aligned to the strategic plan and the goals that you heard throughout the year and at the last meeting. For this coming year, our operating fund revenues, and the operating funds are the Education Fund, Operations and Maintenance Fund, Transportation, IMRF, and Social Security, working cash. They represent $30,755,591. It's a 4.1% increase over the 23-24 budgeted operating fund revenues. Expenditures are $28,439,727. That's a 1.7% increase over the 23-24 budget. We're predicting a surplus of $1,047,014, and that also includes the money that we transfer to the debt fund to cover the copier leases and the 2016 and 17 debt certificates, and also our new 2024 alternate revenue bond. I am also recommending a transfer of $3 million from the Ed Fund to pay for the Euclid infrastructure projects. So we still, and right now I'm estimating how we will end FY24. It looks like we should be about $2 million ahead in revenue. and expenditures about on budget. But Ryan will give you more information about that next fiscal year, next meeting, and then for meeting after that. So we would end the year with still 82% fund balances. In the long-range projection, which we'll look at soon, there would be a much larger transfer from the added operating and O&M funds into the debt service fund or capital project fund to cover all of the Indian Grove projects. We have been able to get a number of grants. The latest one is the $1,072,000 grant from the DOE Renew America's Schools, which we will talk about under the Operations and Maintenance Committee. So just a few of the assumptions. The CPI for the 2024 levy is 3.4%. I forecasted $2 million in new property. We actually got about $1 million this last year, so it might be a little bit aggressive. The tax refund recapture is $315,000. And right now, I'm just projecting flat revenues and all the federal and state funding. Not looking at anything new. We're still under our 2022 to 26 negotiated contract. Health insurance had some increases, 5.3% for the HMO, 7.8% for the PPO, and 6.3% for dental. But we contribute the same flat amount for insurance. According to the contract, it does cover single insurance still for all employees. In terms of staffing, it's a net decrease of 1 certified staff member. It's a decrease of 2 teachers at Euclid, but we're still monitoring that because our 3rd grade is pretty large there, so we're going to see where we end up. And a decrease of 1 teacher for enrollment at the middle school. As you've already heard, we've had a couple additions for the Spanish teacher here at the middle school for 6th grade, and a district speech language pathologist. And that was offset with the elimination of the district multilingual teacher position we added last year. So major curriculum initiatives are the new math curriculum, the Spanish curriculum, and our SEL curriculum. Professional development will be geared towards that, as well as equity, differentiation, collaboration assessments. You've heard a lot about technology this year. We have a new focus towards flexible, reliable, engaging, and empowering technology, which we've already approved the purchase for the touchscreen Chromebooks and some interactive flat panels at the elementary classrooms, starting with Euclid. And then there's going to be a strong emphasis on making sure that our software, both educational and business, is high impact. And cybersecurity continues to be an issue that we address in a variety of different ways. And the Technology Initiative Grant helps us to fund some innovative classroom technologies and encourages the teachers to try new things. Also in this budget is the capital budget of almost $25 million. And that includes Euclid for this summer and getting started, the roof at Indian Grove this summer, and getting started at Indian Grove the following summer. If it doesn't all get spent in this fiscal year, it'll just get rolled over into the next fiscal year. And that was paid for by the $10 million bond sale we had this spring, $24 million, another $10 million alternate revenue bond sale, and a $4 million general obligation bond. We sold Nipper School, we got some grants, we got some tax rebates, and we're transferring some funds from the Ed and the O&M fund to cover all of this. As usual, we have $250,000 in contingencies for staff, special education, and technology. So the plan is the budget will come back to be approved for display on July 9th. We'll display it from there until September 10th, have a public hearing on September 10th, and adopt the budget and file it by the end of September.
Any questions? Okay, hearing none.
Wait, really
Yep.
quick. Maybe just misread or misheard. We had so next year's revenue is 30.7 million,
Yes.
but isn't that a decrease from last year's ending revenue? So on the committee, the finance packet, page 12 looked like it was projected at 31.1. So I don't know if the assumptions changed or not. It's fine. Just want to know which direction it's going.
Page 12, I didn't bring the packet with me.
It's fine. No, it's just information only.
Yeah,
and
I
I
can-
meant to
I mean,
write it
yeah,
earlier,
I-
so
I mean-
it's not something that needs to be answered tonight.
Okay, I
And
can
check
get back
with
to you. I can
Brian
get back to
later.
you.
That's perfectly fine.
I mean, I do tend to be conservative. It's planned on about 98% collections. And if we could, I do have a little presentation here that talks about the projections. Maybe we can go through that too.
Okay, no big deal. I could follow up next week.
So that's up there. These are, is that the presentation, Patty? I didn't bring the whole thing with me. I guess I should have. Start at the very beginning. That's all right. I have it. You're fine. That's fine. Okay, so these are the 5-year projections, and we went through these just to show that, yes, we still look like we can do the capital projects that we have coming up through next year. It's based always on our school district and school priorities and aligned with our plan. We always look at an annual evaluation of the programs and the staff, and it's semi-zero-based budgeting, and with a number of grants to supplement our spending. The next one just shows the enrollment. We show it declining a little bit over the next few years, kind of leveling off at around 1,400 and then going back up a little bit. Next page. And then just the fund, shows our revenues and our expenditures are balanced, and we still have a fund balance of 24 million. Revenues by source. Property taxes continue to be about 85% of our revenues. Other local revenues include interest and some local grants. One of the reasons the revenues may be higher this year than next year is we did get a grant from the state for our electric bus that we got for this year. And then I think a couple of school maintenance grants. Next. Expenditures, close to 80% goes to salary and benefits. That's the biggest part. We do other objects is primarily our special education tuitions. That's why that's so high. Next. And it is tied to the goals that you saw last time, which is strengthening and anchoring our existing practices while addressing student growth and other components. So it's an ongoing application using research-based practices, a formalized plan to assess, monitor, and shape our head-ready and heart-ready instructional practices, data to guide our decisions. So it's really a data-based plan that we're really trying to really focus on, looking at the data and driving our educational plan that way, and then growing our leadership. So the 5-year projection, we do have our 2023 tax extension now. It's based on this 2025 budget that I showed you, the enrollment and the staffing. The compensation and benefits is based on the FY 22 to 26 contract, and a few other things that we have to make some assumptions about. Just a little bit more detail. I think I mentioned tax collections at 98%. We're getting our rebates at 0.3%. The 23 levy was based on a 5%. It was actually higher than 5% CPI, but we're capped at 5%. 24 is 3.4%, but going forward, this projection is based on 2% increase in the forward years. So I think that's fairly conservative, and interest rates of about 3%.
Sorry, what do you look at as interest rates? What do you mean by that?
Interest that we're earning on our fund balances.
Okay.
Continuing with flat state and federal grants. Next. In terms of the expenditures, it includes the retirements through the FY26 contract, and new teachers are brought in at $65,000. I am assuming, because enrollment looks like it's flat or declining, that the teaching staff will be flat. Health insurance, there is an increase in FY26, but other than that, pretty much follows the contract. There was a question about this no cost shift for TRS. That's been talked about as long as I've been working here, that the state's going to make the district start picking up their 9% portion of TRS, but it hasn't happened yet. And I haven't heard much about it lately. All the other expenditures are pretty much tied to the CPI in terms of increases. So this one's hard. Why don't you go on to the next one's the graph. Okay, so this shows the next 6 years with fund balances decreasing because we're transferring to the capital projects fund and then flattening off after that. And there's a detail just showing that I've planned for all of the capital project expenditures and transfers and bonds to cover that. And then I think the next page, the risks for the 5-year projection. I haven't heard much about it lately, but there's always been talk about a property tax freeze. Our outplaced special education students, even though we do send them to NSSEO, can get very expensive, and if we ever have to send them to private, it can get even more expensive. We continue to get those tax refund rebates. They started at $790,000 and have gone down to $315,000, but that also means we haven't refunded as much PTABs, so that offsets it. We collect more taxes then because up front and rather than refunding it. There's always the danger of delays in funding from the state of Illinois. It's happened many times, which is one of the reasons we keep some good fund balances. And I think our biggest risk, now that we're renovating the other 2 schools, will be things happening at this school. Dan's done a good job of collecting things from their remodeled schools so we can fix up this school and doing some maintenance projects to keep it running in a good way until we can issue some more bonds or decide to do something else for this school. That was it.
Any questions on the budget for Dr. Schuster?
So that the TRS thing that you said has been talked about forever, but never happened.
Yeah.
Is that just totally dead? Is it somewhat alive? Is it like a 1 out of 10 risk, a 5 out of 10?
I haven't heard anything about it either.
I haven't heard anything recently.
Like EdRed, none of that. I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that they're talking about is TRS for the Tier 2. They have other things on their plate, I feel like, than this.
Yes.
But yeah, nothing.
Anybody else? Okay. Next up is the Operations Committee report.
All All right, that's me. The Operations Committee met at, I believe, the end of May and reviewed a handful of items that we are bringing forward for action. The first of which is basically getting the HVAC, the new HVAC system at Euclid brought online, kind of tweaked out, and training initiated for the maintenance staff. Obviously, it's a much more decentralized system where there's a fair amount of ability to tune and to capture more efficiency out of. So from a budgetary standpoint, this was budgeted for. This is something I've been trying to do a better job understanding. It fell under the soft costs budget line item, so it was anticipated from a budgetary standpoint, but falls into that category. The administration evaluated 2 different vendors and selected IMEG, and we are, as a committee, bringing it forth for approval. You want to do the motion and the second, and we can talk about it?
Happy to. All right, let me get a motion and a second to approve the hiring of IMEG for the commissioning at Euclid School at a cost not to exceed $49,000.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Ronstadt, second by Bianchini.
Any questions?
Comments or questions?
Yeah.
I just had a clarifying. So this, I had to Google what commissioning meant on electrical and water. But this is it's not like an optional thing. Like it's something that's required by like city code, and that's why it was in the budget.
Yes, we need to do this, yes. And even if it's not required by code, it's a good thing to do because you want your mechanical system to run well.
Anybody else? Okay. Mrs. Johnson, could you please call roll?
Yes. Ronstadt?
Yes.
Bianchini?
Yes.
Camardo?
Yes.
Pfisterer?
Yes.
I vote yes. Grimpy?
Yes.
Friedland?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next up is a microgrid and solar panels, and this is also an action item.
Okay, so this has been worked on and brought up on several occasions, and Lyndall has been working on it at the direction of the Operations Committee, and has leveraging DOE funding that is part of the infrastructure or the Inflation Reduction. Okay, one way or another, it's federal money that was recently approved that is basically going to give us, for lack of a better term, a free solar and battery system for our Euclid facility. Not only is it free, but it will substantially reduce ongoing electrical costs. It obviously aligns well with the new roof that we're putting on Euclid, and includes battery storage and a full array of solar panels. I think we even went for the bigger solar array setup to maximize the energy generation that we can have. We also, so it's pretty outstanding. It's we kind of talked about not spending money, but ironically, spending money here will not only save us some money, but help to really set a good example for the community and generate some more green energy. You want to add anything to that, Lyndall?
No, I think it's a wonderful thing. So,
all right, let me entertain a motion in a second to the purchasing of microgrid and battery from Fortress Power at a cost of $250,000, awarding the installation of the microgrid and battery to Prospect Electric Option B at a cost of $113,361, and awarding the solar panel project to 93 Energy at a cost of $644,000, and engaging Baker and Tilly to determine tax credits and file the appropriate tax documents at a cost of $35,000. And this approval is contingent on the Department of Energy's release of funds.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Ronstadt, second by, Becky? Okay, by Pfisterer. Any comments or questions?
I have one.
Please.
Why does Prairie Trails not have a microgrid?
I think that it was a system that was put in a couple of years ago, It also, the grant did not include that, whereas this grant does include that functionality. I don't know whether it's compatible with it, or I think it's really just generationally new technology and how the grant is formulated.
And if we have applied for the second round of the grant, which we're targeting towards Indian Grove, but if there's any money left, we could again look at putting a battery at Prairie Trails. But the bus itself is supposed to serve as a battery to give back to the grid. And we're hoping to pilot that this summer, giving it back to the grid. It's a vehicle-to-grid charger with the bus at Prairie Trails School.
Okay. Okay, now, what about, with all this, we're basically turning our buildings into electric buildings, all electric buildings, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what kind of fire protection? I mean, you're putting fire sprinklers in, but I was always told you don't put water on a battery that's on fire. So what's the purpose of putting sprinklers in the schools?
Yeah. So we did ask that question, a couple things. I think the battery is going to be located outdoors.
Correct.
In a specific area, and I think we even decided to, is that the one we decided to put on the
Yeah,
wheeling?
that's up there. We're putting it where
Okay.
the red.
Yeah, I know, you're
red
putting
note
it
is.
right out in front of the school
No,
on Wheeling.
Yeah, on
yeah,
wheeling.
on wheeling, we're right in,
It's right, all the people on, everybody can see it.
Yeah,
It
well,
will
we-
have a
Anyways, I'm-
fence, it will have fence and landscaping around it.
Okay, but my thing is about fire.
I
I'm worried
think,
about safety.
I don't remember the exact, but I think we did bring this up, and I think that the fire department will be notified and coordinated with, so that they know what is there, so that they can properly manage it in the case of a fire. But there's no batteries on the interior of the building, so all of the, high voltage stuff runs into the mechanical room, and then with the battery system, it's all self-contained. Add anything to that, Lyndall?
Unless Dan
Can-
has, no. I think what you said
Yeah,
was
can you-
correct. I
can
think
you
what you
just-
said was correct, yes.
Can you validate for the whole board that that the fire department will be, not only notified, but, kind of given a tour of it and make sure that they're aware of it so they don't go
Yes,
spraying water
correct.
on
Yes,
it?
they will, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. But good question.
I also want to point out that it rains. So like the battery is going to get wet, but they've already accounted for that. Are you talking about like if the battery catches on fire?
Yes. Yes.
I think these are different types of.
It's a lithium battery.
Yeah. I think, okay.
The battery itself doesn't just sit on my, it's encompassed in.
Yes, it's in a big case, yes.
I realize that.
It's in a container.
Yeah, and the fire department does have protocols for dealing with lithium or with batteries. There's. Yeah.
I wish somebody could convince me to vote yes for this, because I can't vote yes for a microgrid. That one is, you saying it's going to be landscaped and everything. I've driven by there, I've seen it. I still think that all of the people who live across the street in the condos or the townhomes there have to look at it, and hopefully it'll be done nicely. And my big worry is nowadays, lithium batteries, even though they're enclosed and stuff, are catching on fire left and right. And I can't vote for putting something like this right up against the school and in the neighborhood. Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, could you please call roll?
Friedland?
Yes.
I vote no. Pfisterer?
Yes.
Grimpy?
Yes.
Ronstadt?
Yes.
Bianchini?
Yes.
Camardo?
I abstain due to potential work conflict.
Okay. Abstain. Okay. Motion carries.
Okay, next up is the infrastructure cost estimate at Indian Grove.
Yeah, so this is the architects taking it up to the next level, basically making the design bid ready. So this is, I believe the cost went up a little bit, but they are still within a workable range, and it is the recommendation of the committee to move this forward. Do a motion in a second?
Sure. Let me entertain a motion in a second to proceed with the Indian Grove infrastructure improvements, including the flooring and lockers in the base bid and the asphalt paving as the alternate.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Ronstadt, second by Bianchini. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, just one. Asphalt paving is what? The parking lot?
No, the
What-
playground.
Okay. The playground, the regular playground.
The regular playground.
The north
yeah.
playground.
Yeah, on the
Okay.
north side of the building, yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, we did have a fairly lengthy back and forth about the playground, and yeah, that was the decision we came to here.
Anybody else?
Well, thank you. I appreciate the alternative bid for the asphalt because I think a chunk of that arrived at my house this school year in a child's pocket. So I had a question about the alternative bids. I think with Euclid we had, many alternative bids, and I just wanted to ask, do we think that helped more people give us bids because it was broken apart, like lockers and floor, or do we?
No, it's
think
better if it's all together. I think
Okay.
it gets too complicated if we have too many alternates.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
No, same thing I've always thought. It's way more than what I think we could have afforded and putting ourselves at risk. To the tune of $8 million. And this is adding another 900,000. So I continue to hold my position that I think we're going beyond our means, as much as I would love it.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, Mrs. Johnson, could you please call roll?
Friedland.
Yes.
Camardo.
No.
Ronstadt.
Yes.
Grimpy.
Yes.
I vote yes. Pfisterer
Yes.
and Bianchini.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next up is the NSSCO report. Mr. Ronstadt, you are our representative.
I am. A lot going on. We officially hired a strategic planning firm. I think after Dr. Schnorr's first year, that we're ready to better align NSSCO now and into the future with what our member districts need to both provide the services that are best for our home district students and the special needs community in general. So, hoping that we can get, one of the big efforts here is being inclusive of the home districts and, especially the administrative staff to, really help to align our own internal use of special education services and, of course, there's a cost-effective nature to it, but also just just alignment to curriculum and what our home districts can handle. Continue to remind our home districts that our membership in NSSCO, as you saw, it's a good chunk of the budget. It's expensive. It's expensive to educate special needs children. But as a member of NSSCO, we do get I think a 10 or 15% discount on the versus the non-member tuition. There's a wait list for non-member students to come into the district, so there are other districts around us that are chomping at the bit to spend more money to provide the same services that NSSCO is providing to our member districts at a reduced cost or a subsidized cost, really. But really hoping that alignment helps both the home district and NSSCO to move forward. There's definitely a lot of, kind of putting everything on the table and seeing what we can do strategically, both in terms of a curriculum, in terms of services, in terms of facilities as well, and really, planning out a long-term vision and strategic plan for the district. There will be elements from the community and, the teachers and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a very, hope to be a productive, non-bureaucratic, but actual, come out with some real planning objectives that we can help to move the organization forward.
Question.
Yeah.
What's the name of the firm you hired?
I knew you were going to ask that. We interviewed two. I want to say HYA. It was one of the ones
Hazard,
I think-
Young, and Atia.
I think that's who it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I remembered that. There were, yes. But yeah, I think they were the chosen bunch. So,
Thank you.
yeah, we got that. We did our board reorganization. I'm going to continue to stay on as board president. Chris Leftkow from District 57 stepped up to be VP in place of Anna Klimkowitz, who will be, this is her last year on the board. She's also the president of 211. And then an old face, Frank Furietti, showed up and has taken over the seat at from 214's perspective as they did their board reorg. So it'd be good to have his perspective. I think he was board president for like 8 years, and obviously over at 214. So happy to have him back. And I think we've got a really good, solid team in place, and continue to move things forward.
And congratulations on the president's position.
Thank you. It's a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for what you do here.
Next up is the president's report. Nice and short. We've got some upcoming events. The district office will be closed next week on July 4th and 5th for the Independence Day holiday. And we have a meeting on July 9th here at the middle school. And that's all that I have. Superintendent's report. Dr. Megley, you are up.
I think mine's even shorter, but I was just going to highlight and just give you an update on summer school. Thanks, Janine, for starting that earlier. But anyways, we're in our third and final week of summer school at Prairie Trails. The theme this year is Out of This World, and it sounds like the kids have been having a great time. And Mr. Scipione is in charge. It's his third year running summer school. Fourth? Oh my goodness, fourth year running summer school for us. And it just gets better and better every year. So we will come back with more formal information, but I thought I'd give you all a highlight of some of those things that have been going on. Summer school is also a great opportunity for us to connect with our community partners. And we've done some similar things over the year, but it's nice to be able to connect with the library. They come in several times. The fire department, their educator there is amazing. She always does a great job. And then the nature center, we've had them in. And so that's been going on. And then we've had one session of Camp Raven, a session of kitchens and gardens at the middle school. You wanted to say that, didn't you? And then we have a second session of Camp Raven coming up in July, and the wrestling camp. So lots of fun things for the kids this summer. I'm sure Zach and Christy and the administration will send out a survey to parents and collect information on their feedback, and you'll get some additional data on summer school. So that's about it.
Okay, next up is the policy 2.140 communication to the board. We did not have any emails received from the public. So what this is me sharing any emails that I've received off of our Board of Education email address. I have not received any, so there's nothing to share. Next up is future topics. The only thing that I would like to, it's not necessarily a future topic, but just something for everyone to start considering, is our board retreat that we have. It's not necessarily a retreat, but that's when we have somebody from ISB kind of come and we do a little, in-service workshop for us. So we want to start looking at dates, and we typically do it in the fall. So if there's anything you would like us to try to cover, feel free to email me or Dr. Megerly. Actually, if you can probably just email us both so that we're both aware. That'd be great. So if there's any specific topics you want to cover or have us discuss with the whole board, we can then help direct ISB to kind of come with a workshop that would cover that. So keep that in mind. Does anybody else have any topics for future consideration? Sir, yeah.
Talking a lot. Making up for lost talking. So a takeaway from the total mind blank. What's that thing we go to every November? God, Jesus. Triple I. Thank you. I was going to say ISB, and I knew that was wrong. From Triple I. So
One of the triple.
true, part of it. It's one of the 3 I's. So one of the sessions I attended, and I give the recap on it, was this great law firm. The speaker was on negotiations with teachers' unions and contracts. And one thing that they recommended in many of their negotiations was having a meeting or a written memorandum of understanding or something of opening up halfway through the contract. So you start the dialogue of communication, expectations, where we are from both perspectives, the teachers' union side and the board side. So just to make things easier step by step as you enter into the negotiation phase 2 years from now. She said it's worked great for every district that has used that approach. There's less surprises. There's more things that you could kind of talk about over a period of time, figuring out what the change in dynamic is, either between the board or the teachers union themselves. So I think as a item for future consideration, do we want to have some sort of formal, informal dialogue at this midway point in the contract as we head into the next one? Even though it's 2 years out, it'll be here before we all know it.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
You said open up the contract, or is it just opening up dialogue?
Not open
okay.
up and saying, here's
Just
where we're
kinda
at in the
starting
first 2 years of the contract.
warm-up.
What do you guys like? What do you don't like?
Okay.
What would you like to move forward with? What are some of your maybe initial expectations for the next one? Things like that. Just trying to start the conversation early.
Who was the firm that gave you this information?
It's probably in my notes.
Okay.
So I could
When you get
send
a
email.
chance,
Yeah.
could you let
Yeah.
me know?
Would love to.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I will say the last time, because Bill and I and Frank were on the committee, he did start speaking with Bob, I think like about 6 months to a year out, just to kind of get a grasp, because we have, the way that negotiations is set up, it's very nice right now. It's not contentious because we do goodwill and we all work. There are no secrets. Like, we're not going into a closed room and we're trying to discuss everything out in the open. So so that new setup is also very helpful. But like, I'm more than happy to start and open a dialogue. I just got a little confused when you said open the contract. That was all. But Jody's already clarified. So
sorry. I did not even mean that I said it in that phrase, because that not at all was the intention.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to do that, because I think we have an amazing, relationship, and but yeah, to start conversations early would be delightful.
Anybody else?
I do want to say that I learned, I've been doing this for a while, and I learned kind of the hard way at NSSEO that like opening the contract's like this scary thing, right? Like, I don't know why. It's always whatever. Oh, don't do that. If there's a position, so what happened at NSSEO is that we were having a terrible time hiring aides, because we were paying aides like $16 an hour, and we were constantly short-staffed. We were recruiting very well, and it was starting to cause safety issues, stressing out the staff, all that kind of stuff. So not only am I supportive of, doing a touch base in some kind of informal, formal manner, however that is constructed, I'm not like wanting to open the contract, but if there are, at this midway point, if there's something that's not working.
No, but we would have an MOU, and so I don't think we have to worry about that right now.
Worry about what?
I think that's what I think he was just saying, like open the contract. Like, we're not having any of those issues.
Forget the
Yeah, I know,
phrase
forget that.
"open the
Right, I know.
contract."
No,
That
no,
was
no.
a complete.
Yeah, so
I know,
if
but,
it
but,
were an issue-
what I'm saying is where
It's
that
not-
dialogue could lead, wherever it goes, I don't want to let problems fester if they're there. If we need to address things, we need to address things. That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to make that not a big scary thing that we can't ever do. Like, I'm not planning on it. I don't, like, I'm one voice here, but if there is something that needs addressing, let's address it. And I think that goes along with just good relations with the union as is, and a good approach or a good cooperative perspective from the board's perspective. So.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to be meeting with Bob in July here in the next couple of weeks, so I'm happy to start the conversation. But, you know, we meet every month, and things have come up, like we've had MOAs, MOUs, and so if something was to be an issue, I would suspect that in our regular meetings, we would have unsurfaced that. So.
I think maybe this is more of a proactive and not, reflective of,
Yeah.
what was an issue,
Yeah.
but what are you looking forward to
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
next
I'm
one?
sure, yeah. And I mean, I make notes in the contract as the year goes on, like, I
Yeah.
don't understand why this is written this way, or why did we decide this? And I'm sure, they do the same thing, so I think that.
Okay, so the general consensus seems to be pretty positive. But is there anybody who is against this? Okay. Then we'll put it down as a future topic. And you can start the dialogue with Bob. I'm happy to sit in on said meeting if you'd like. Just let me know. Is there any questions of clarity for how to move forward?
So like when you say future topic, I mean, I could bring it back in my superintendent report, but it's only going to be a report, a follow-up. It's not really it's not going to be a presentation or anything like that. It's more of it sounds like it's more of an ask than a future topic. I ask of the administration, right? I don't know.
Right, Louis? Are you?
Well, I don't know if I just take this literally as if it's a superintendent evaluation. It's future information discussion. So maybe something we discuss if in your meeting with Bob, he says on behalf of the teachers union, we're looking toward this or that, bring it to us and we discuss it.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
just literally how I'm reading future topics. So
Right,
if my
and that-
understanding is incorrect. Then
Okay.
No, yeah, it's not. It'll also come back in like the negotiations committee when we start to talk about those things
Yep,
too.
absolutely.
So if anything pops up, happy to report out.
Any other topics for future consideration? All right, let me entertain a motion in a second to go into closed session for the matters of personnel at 8:10 p.m. with no action to be taken upon exiting the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Friedland, second by Pfister at 8:10.
Okay, Bianchini,
Yes.
Grimpy,
Yes.
Ronstadt,
Yes.
Pfister,
Yes.
I vote yes. Camardo,
yes.
Friedland.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Take a 5-minute break. Let's get this party started at 8:15. Okay.
Ronstadt,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Camardo,
Yes.
Bianchini,
Yes.
Pfister,
Yes.
Friedland,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries.
Next on the docket is adjournment. Let me entertain a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting at 9:20 p.m.
Second.
Bianchini and Friedland.
Okay. Pfister? Yes. Am I doing? We're closing?
Yep.
Okay. Camardo?
Yes.
I vote yes. Ronstadt?
Yes.
Friedland?
Yes.
Bianchini?
Yes.
Murphy?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next regular meeting is July 9th here at the middle school. We are adjourned.
Okay, 10 minutes early, is that okay next time for your little tree picture?
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, our tree picture.
I was gonna say,